What's going on YouTube? It's Will here. I'm in my 2024 WRX TR, new car to me. This is my first new car since my 2002 Chevy Avalanche, which I still have, which is my first car that I started driving in high school when I was 17, and then I got my license when I was 18. So I've had that car for around 5 years now. Now I finally picked up this car. A lot of emotions were going through my head. It was my first big boy purchase, if you will, adult purchase. With this kind of amount of money and that kind of stuff like that, I knew how much it meant, and I was really worried about it. And I was trying to choose between a bunch of different cars, but I ended up settling with this one, and I'm just super happy with it. This car definitely fits me. It definitely fits what I want, and it's kind of a good one-car solution, do-it-all solution. You know, all-wheel drive, sedan size factor, plenty of interior space, and cargo space. But overall, I'm just super happy with this car. It's just been a joy to drive. It's my first manual car, so I've been learning on this car, and it's definitely a big adjustment coming from a big old hunky truck, and now being in a turbo car. So first, I'll do a walk around. So when I first look at this car, obviously you can see it's red. I'm not a big red person, but it is a very nice striking color, and I do like the bright colors on these cars. And I felt that I was either going to go with World Rally Blue, or I was thinking maybe black, but then a few months before I was about to pull the trigger, I was like, I think I can do red. I was looking at Subi Speed's WRX TR, and especially with the red Brembos, I feel like the red does match the car very good. With the World Rally Blue, I didn't really like the whole red on blue package, and plus they were just super hard to get your hands on because of the type of car or type of color and type of iconic color that World Rally Blue is. But we round to the back. Obviously you got the quad tip exhaust, which definitely kind of sets the car apart. It makes it look really aggressive, and even for a stock exhaust, the startup is actually pretty insane, and it sounds really good, and it's almost borderline obnoxious at certain points. It's pretty crazy, but it does tone down a lot, and it's a very good stock exhaust. It's kind of loud when you want it to, when you're revving, probably a little bit past 35 or 4,000 RPM or so, getting closer to that red line. And even you can even get some pops when you're really pushing it, which is something that I experienced I think 2 days ago when I was driving. Took this car out, and it was just exhilarating hearing the pops of this car as this car accelerates with the turbo noises. It even has a little bit of gear whine, as if it was like a sequential car or something like that. Overall, it's just a super cool, unique car. Such a great package. And then you got the hood scoop in the front. Just right off the bat, you know this car is a little bit set apart from other sedans. And then coming in, I noticed right away, I saw those Recaro bucket seats, and it just makes it feel a lot more, unique and sporty. Even though they're sporty and it has lots of really strong bolstering, it's still a very comfortable car. My dad and I took it all the way from around Dallas, Texas, McKinley, Texas, a little bit north of Dallas. Drove 11 hours back to where I am in Florida, in Northwest Florida, and we were comfortable in this car, no problems. Even I was sitting in the passenger seat, had plenty of room. I could even lock my leg at 6 foot in the passenger seat. And you can see under here, I can almost lock my knee in the driver's position where I have it. I only have it in the furthest back position. Yeah, so moving it back, I can fully stretch out my legs. And my dad, who drove, because it's my first manual car, he's 6'2", 260, and he was able to fit in this car quite comfortably, and he didn't really have any issues with it. Obviously, we took some breaks. We took 3 stops in that whole trip, which is not that many for an 11-hour drive. But we were just going. I mean, this car had great gas mileage. It got 30 miles per gallon, and I've been averaging around 24, just driving it to work and stuff. But I'm also more of an inexperienced manual driver, so probably pushing more revs or not as smooth as I could be to get some better MPGs. But it's very, very good quality MPGs, especially for an all-wheel drive turbo car with the sport factor that it has. But going back into the interior, I really like this interior. It's definitely a comfortable place to be. You can easily get a good driving position. The pedals are in a good spot. You got a nice dead pedal. The aluminum pedals is definitely more premium. You got your Alcantara micro suede, which makes it feel a little bit more premium in here, a little bit more sporty. You got your fake carbon fiber, which most people probably don't know if it's fake, so it's kind of cool. And you got the Harman Kardon sound system, which is something that was super important to me because I love listening to music in my car and cruising. It also has the subwoofer in the back, as you can see. And yeah, even though it's a sedan, you still have plenty of space. I can lean the seats plenty far back. You can pretty much lean that one flat if you want to really take a nap on the highway. I can sit behind my driver position. You got good space to put stuff. You got this little section right here. You can throw your phone in there, and then your keys can even fit in here. You got the physical handbrake. Even though it does have hill assist, you can turn that off. The shipping and packaging, got a small cubby here, which is also a nice place to put your arm. I feel like you don't really need the armrest extension, especially you can have your one arm here, or one in your lap, or just sometimes they just kind of hold the handbrake, or you can put it on the shifter if you like. But overall, yeah, super impressed with this car. This is a big reason I wanted the TR, to just have more of a sporty feel, have all the limited upgrades. Obviously no moonroof, but I really use mine anyway, so in my truck, so I was like, why do I need that? Moving to the back seat, still a very usable back seat. I can sit behind myself just fine, and then these seats do fold down, which makes it get even more space. It can fold all the way flat if you have your driver's seat more up, but all the seats can fold down, giving me even more space, which is something I definitely valued, especially if this was my only car. Kind of that could have been in the books for me if my truck did break down. I feel like I'd be fine with this car. I'm not really compromising much. Plenty of trunk space. I got the all-weather mat, and then I also have both sets of floor mats inside, which are really great. And then you got your gas cap on the right side. And another big reason I got this car was the 19s and the Brembo brakes. These brakes feel fantastic. Definitely the biggest brakes that I've had on a car, but they really do bite. And I haven't really pushed this car too much yet, but you don't have any I don't have any lack of confidence of stopping. And I think also the 19 just fit the car a little bit better, reduces the wheel gap, as I do plan to keep the car stock. For the most part, I might just do some tint and call it a day. I feel like I wanted to get the best package out of the box, and then value-wise, this was pretty much less expensive than the Limited, or around the same price, but for all the features, I mean, that's like a $4,000 gap. And then even get the Recaro bucket seats, they're just a few grand a pop as well. So it's a really big value to get the TR. A lot of people were saying get the TR on YouTube and stuff, and that's kind of the term I wanted. I didn't really want the 25s with the crazy blue interior space. I didn't want all the drive modes. I kind of wanted the one drive mode, which is just the manual transmission, and you just go. The steering feel is very sharp. Yes, it does lack some of the feeling, but it's not super dead. I am coming from a hydraulic steering wheel system in my truck, so it is a big kind of gap between that and newer cars. But overall, I really love it. I love how it handles with the lower center of gravity with the boxer engine. It really feels like you're almost in like a coupe or even lower to the ground type of car. But this car doesn't, it's not so low where it's all scraping all the time, or it's just kind of hard to drive in certain scenarios when parking lots or random curves and stuff like that. You do still have to take your time, but it's not so overbearing like another sports coupe, for example. Overall, I really love this car. It's a blast to drive. It's definitely just feels sporty, and I'm not compromising on much. I still have some space. It doesn't really feel like a big car. You put up next to a Mustang and other muscle cars, it's about the same size or even smaller. I mean, I even lined up next to my friend's C8, and this car is pretty much about the same length as C8, but you don't have all this cargo space, interior space, usability, back seats, all that stuff. No, it doesn't have the same performance, but it's just fun in its own way, and this car definitely kind of represents what I wanted in a car. And kind of like my dream JDM car is a R32 GTR, which kind of on paper, this is kind of the closest thing to it. Similar power numbers, 6-speed manual all-wheel drive. No, it's not classy looking and maybe not as good looking as the GTR, but I would say it has kind of the similar soul to it. I mean, obviously the 400Z and all that stuff like that, of course, right? But I think in a more old school, classy way with the analog dials and stuff like that, I feel like it feels to me a little bit closer to that. But it is still a modern car. I still have warranty on this car and all that stuff. But these are just my first impressions. I really enjoy driving it. It's definitely a very just unique car and very special car. In boost, without boost, there's like almost two completely different cars, which is super nice. So you can definitely drive this chill, and you can also drive it spiritedly, which I do love. It's a very dynamic car in that way. Everything is very simple and usable. Even with the screen, it's not too hard to use. You can put things on automatic mode, change up the dials up and down. Overall, it's just a great experience to drive. But probably just going to do some practice in the parking lot, get a little smoother, and I'll catch you in the next video. Yeah, boy. Alright, have a great rest of your day. Peace.